I've caught you in like 5 lies in about 2 minutes because you cannot remember what bull story or sentence you said 30 seconds ago. Am I wrong?
No, I have a memory problem. I've been trying to tell you guys
you're
that.
full of We've already talked to
Can
you,
I have
doctor.
a paper so I can maybe...
You want to write down your lies? You want to write down a good journal? You're full of
In March of 2021, Brittany Gosney and her boyfriend James Hamilton showed up at the Middletown Police Department to report that their 6-year-old son, James, had gone missing. For the officers, this raised a major red flag. Immediately, Brittany and James were separated and put into different rooms for questioning. Often when a child goes missing, the parents opt to call 911 to report the missing child and begin their search frantically. Instead, Brittany and James waited, seemingly unfazed by the situation.
So everyone, well, whatever, but again, we have got to find this old fellow.
Oh, yeah.
We have got
Believe me, that's the best thing I want.
So, let me start off. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Really, the only thing I want.
Well, good. Now, how many kids total are there?
3.
Let's start with the oldest one. Are these your children?
No, they're
okay.
Biological.
Okay. But you've been with Brittany for how long?
About 9 months now.
Okay. So they're coming up on being your kids. But just kind of take me, let's start yesterday afternoon at about noon. Yesterday at about 12 o'clock. So all 3 of the kids, you and Brittany, were at home watching television.
Yes, sir.
Now, with that being said, I never made it in your house, so I may ask you a bunch of questions, just like where things were. So where is the television?
When you first walked through the front door of the living room.
Kind of in the living room, watching TV. What were you guys watching? Do you remember?
Kids cartoons.
Okay.
I don't really pay attention.
Sure, I got you. So you guys have got, 3 cars?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had problems with people bothering your shit before?
When I first moved up here, I had an ATV stolen off.
Oh, did it?
I made a police report.
Right. Where were you living at then?
Over on Woodside.
Okay. What time did you guys eat dinner?
It was around 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Did you guys go get something, or did Brittany or you make something?
Brittany cooked.
What did she make?
She made pizza rolls for the kids, and me and her just snacked on stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't really having an appetite being sick.
Oh, I believe it. So that's about 6:30, you said.
Put the kids to bed.
Okay.
When they separated from me and Brittany. And then about 10:30, me and Brittany went to bed.
What's the next thing that you remember?
I got up around 3:45,
Okay.
and I went through the rooms, noticed the boy, James, was gone. I went down, I got to look in the front door, it was locked. I looked at the back side door, it's unlocked.
So both of them were locked?
No, it was unlocked.
Oh, unlocked. The back
side door was unlocked.
At what point did you wake up the kids or Brittany to make sure they didn't know where little James was?
Well, it was around about 8:30 this morning. I woke back up with everybody, and we all went looking again, and then we couldn't find them nowhere. We came here.
Sure. What's your gut feeling of what you think happened to little James?
I don't know. I'm hoping he's somewhere there in the neighborhood hiding.
Does he have any friends that he hangs out with?
None I'm aware of.
Does he have any of the parks that he likes to go to? Well, like I said, I really appreciate you talking to me. And we're still trying to get to the bottom of all this, and obviously you and Brittany are our number one sources of information that's going to help us right now. But we got to find him. I'm sure you want him found as bad as we do.
I'd like to go as soon as possible before I go back out looking for him.
Sure. Well, you hold tight right here, and if you need something, knock on the door. I'm going to go check and see what else they can come up with. Maybe I got good news.
Investigators often begin their interrogations by asking questions they know the suspects will answer truthfully. By doing this, the investigators can get an understanding of their body language when they tell the truth, so when the suspects lie, they catch it. The detective interviewing James Hamilton suspects that something is up right off the bat. While James may not be his biological child, it was still the child of his girlfriend. James didn't show an ounce of real concern and had even admitted to going back to bed after finding the child gone.
So he wakes you up at 8 and tells you what? Or do you wake up on your own at 8, or does he wake you up at 8?
Well, he woke me up and because he went looking around first. He said he had come in there several times before to try to wake me up. And he said I didn't respond to any time. So he just went outside and looked around, looked through all the rooms, the closets, and all that, and he couldn't find him anywhere. So then the next thing he thought to do was just go around a couple blocks, see if he might be close by.
Did he walk there, or did he drive there, or what did he do for that part?
He drove around.
Okay.
But he came back and woke me up, and he was like, you know, James is gone? I was like, what? And I was like, no, I thought he was upstairs asleep. And I even woke up the brother and sister, maybe thinking they might have seen him up, about, moving around or something, and they said they didn't hear nothing, they didn't see him.
So the baby's name is James Hutchinson? Okay. What's his date of birth?
6/30/14. He's a baby, so
Right.
I'm kind of worried about him.
Well, sure. Yeah, people all the time, but So tell me what kind of kid he is.
He has ADHD. He struggles real bad in school. He struggles to pay attention. He's, otherwise than that, like in school and stuff, they said he's good in school. He tries to focus.
He's physically healthy, no health issues.
No.
Oh, great. Good boy at home?
Yeah.
Pretty good boy. How do you guys discipline him when he does?
Stand him in the corner.
And again, I spank my kids. My kids are grown now, but I did spank my kids. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you spank them? Do you just ground them? Do you take stuff from them?
Well, my son with the red hair, he likes playing like video games and stuff like that. Well, the baby doesn't really know how to work the controller and stuff. He tries, but we just make them stand in a corner just for like a little bit to make them know that you ain't supposed to do that.
Is James in school yet?
Yes, he's in first grade.
He's in first grade. Where does he go to school?
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, okay. When's the last time he was in school?
Well, it's every Monday and Tuesday, so he was in school last Tuesday.
Okay. So he goes 2 days a week, Mondays and Tuesdays, down at Rosa Parks?
Yeah.
Okay. But you're saying other than that, he's a pretty good kid. As far as like behaviorally, he's a 6-year-old, so I know 6-year-olds.
He has his little fits here and there, his tantrums. I just overlook it.
Right.
Because, that's the only thing you can do. Because, the other ones have the same thing, or they like to throw themselves down to the floor, or stomping, or something like that. But other than that, he's a pretty good kid.
What's his address on Crawford there?
507 Crawford.
507. And how long have you guys lived there?
We just moved in there.
You just yesterday, a week ago? 2 weeks?
The beginning of the month.
The beginning of the month, okay. So beginning of February.
Yes.
In the room that James sleeps in, there's a pillow in there, and there's like some scratches on the floor. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. It looks like maybe with a toy, maybe, or something like that.
The kids play upstairs in the room.
Have you ever noticed those scratches before? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that? You do not?
No, I don't. It could have been there when we moved in.
Yeah, sure. I didn't know if you paid attention to that.
I didn't really look at the floors.
Okay. Do you have mattresses for the kids or anything like that?
We've been trying to get some.
Okay.
I've been calling around asking for furniture vouchers and everywhere around here is not helping with that right now.
From their initial review of the home, investigators have found that none of the kids have mattresses to sleep on, only a pillow and a blanket on the floor. Scratches were found on the floor of James's room, but because it's a rental home, the scratches could have been made by previous tenants. Before sitting down with Gosney, the detective tasked with her interrogation asked the other two children a series of questions. They said that while they did in fact eat pizza rolls for dinner, little James did not. He was given a slice of bread and put into the corner for timeout. After only a few minutes alone in the room with Gosney, the detective leaves the room. He knows that the pair are hiding something by their lack of emotions towards the situation.
No, well, you've been here a little while, and you said whenever we walked in the door that we all want the same thing, and that's just our little James. I basically don't. I've got other officers out doing a bunch of stuff. I've got other officers that are out checking vacant buildings. They're out pulling videos from surveillance cameras that are in the neighborhood around there, and it's kind of like, I really don't have anything else to do right now other than to go back, kind of retrace steps, go over things again.
I'm starting to get hungry. I'd like to go home.
The detective decides to switch his interrogation tactics early. Instead of trying to get any story out of James, the detective decided to read James his rights and tell him that Brittany had already told the officers everything. It's a dangerous tactic that may cause James to call their bluff, or worse, buckle down and zip his lips.
I just talked to my girlfriend there, and I'm terrible with names. What's her name? Brittany. All right, now she's told me most of the truth, okay? She's saying she don't remember where he's at, but she's told me about he's dead, okay? And that you guys were together. Okay. I need to know where the body's at.
That I do not know. As for me being with her and the kids, no, sir, I was not.
Okay, and we can talk about that
I
later.
got home.
We can talk about if you were there or not later. Okay, she's saying all five of you were together, and this is what happened. Okay, and I'm not going to go into details what she told me there. Okay, so at this point.
Well, what did she tell you that happened, sir?
Well, I know that he's dead, and I know that his body's somewhere, and I need to figure out. I'm wanting right now to recover his body is really important to me because it gives closure to both of you guys. Okay, that's the most important thing. We can go into detail later that when it's happened. Okay, because surely she's smart enough to tell you, even if you weren't with her. Okay, you got to take some ownership of this. Okay. Don't minimize anything.
The ownership I would take of it where I didn't call when she brought the body home, sir.
Okay. Where is the body then? When she brought the body home, what did she say she did with it?
She didn't tell me, sir. It happened up at Rush Run Park is where it happened at.
It happened in Rush Run.
Yes, she was supposed to take the kids up there, give them a scare tactic.
Right.
Drop them off for a few minutes, turn around and go get them because they all was acting up real bad.
Within the first hour, investigators' worst nightmare has been confirmed. James is dead. When confronted, Hamilton tells the detectives that the children were acting out of control, and as a way to scare them back into submission, Gosney took the three children to a park outside of town. The intentions were to leave them alone outside for a few minutes before returning to pick them back up. However, Hamilton says that James had panicked and tried to grab the car door handle, but as Gosney sped away, James tripped. The child supposedly suffered blunt force trauma from the fall and died. Hamilton denies being there for the incident. Brittany Gosney, on the other hand, has another story to tell about that night.
All right, so this is what I need to know. In the middle of the night last night, okay, you went upstairs and you picked James up out of his room, and you went downstairs where your boyfriend was at. Tell me, and I'm not going to go into everything James has told me, okay, because I'm still looking for you to be honest with me, okay? Tell me about that. Tell me what happened after you picked him up out of the room and went downstairs.
I said, I don't remember picking him up, taking him downstairs.
You don't remember anything about picking him up, taking him downstairs in the middle of the night? James is pushing this off on you. Okay, I'm going to be real upfront with you about this at this point. Okay, so you need to be very smart, and honesty goes a long, long way with me, and if there's any criminal charges in the future, honesty goes a long way. Okay? I'm getting a story that is totally different than what you've told me, and I don't know why James is telling me that, but that's what he's telling me. Okay, that's part of what he's telling me. Okay, he's wanting more detail than that. Okay, but I'm not going to share that with you. I need to know what happened last night with your boy, your 6-year-old. Or this morning, early this morning. In the middle of the night. Whatever.
I know he said that he had a nightmare.
The 6-year-old?
Yeah, but I didn't carry him downstairs or anything.
Okay, who carried him down the steps?
He walked down the steps.
He walked down the steps in the middle of the night? About what time was that?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't pay attention to the time.
That was in the middle of the night?
Yeah, I was more worried about what was wrong with him.
What does that mean?
Like what?
Why he was downstairs?
Why was he downstairs? Why was he awake? What was bothering him? Did he feel sick? Or he had to use the bathroom?
Okay, so he's downstairs, and what does he say to you?
Me had a nightmare.
Okay, in those words? Okay. So, me had a nightmare. What did you do? What was the next thing you did?
Just try to sit there and...
Where did he come to? The living room?
No, he went in there and woke me up.
In the bed?
Yeah.
And was James in bed with you at the time?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
He come in there and said, Mommy, I don't know how many times he's probably said my name. I'm a deep sleeper.
Okay.
But I was rolling over and I heard, Mommy, Mommy. At first I thought I was just hearing things, and then something told me, like, maybe I'm not hearing things. So I opened my eyes and he said, Mommy, we had a nightmare. Or, Mommy, we see a shadow. I was like, what shadow? He said, I don't know, they're white. I was like, he's like, do you know what it is? I said, I don't know. And then he said he couldn't really sleep. Couldn't tell me what he was dreaming about. Or his nightmare was. Just he was scared.
And then what did he do? What did you do then?
I just kind of comfort him.
Console him? Okay, how did you do that?
Gosney tells the detective that James had a nightmare earlier in the night. James was scared and thought that waking his mother up would make him feel better. After consoling James, Gosney asked if he wanted to go back upstairs to sleep in his room, or if he wanted to sleep in the living room instead. James opted to stay downstairs as he was still too scared. Gosney retrieved his bedding and came back to the living room, where she then turned on cartoons, but when she's asked about the time frame, Gosney tries to slip out of the question. She doesn't want to accidentally say something incriminating.
Well, I suspect something accidentally happened, okay, because you are all over the place with your stories, okay? For whatever reason, you're scared and you're not telling me the whole truth, okay? And I understand you being scared. I know you don't know me. Okay, but I'm the most honest person that you're ever going to talk to. Okay? I'm telling you, it's in your best interest to tell me the entire truth. Okay? Or you're going to be in a world of hurt. I'm telling you. No matter what happened. No matter what happened. By telling me the truth goes a long way. It's going to go a long, long way in this process. Okay? I know that something either accidental or something happened to James, or you wouldn't be all over the place like this. I've done this a long time, Okay, this is all I've done for 27 years. Okay, is talk to people. You have to tell me what's going on and what happened. Okay, at this point, because James, your boyfriend, is telling a different story than what you're telling. Okay, you're deflecting, you are minimizing stuff, meaning that, you're just not telling me the whole truth. Well, he's breaking down. Okay, he's telling me the whole truth. Okay, so you can sit here and keep lying to me. I can't make you tell me the truth. You know that. You're going to have to take a deep breath and tell me what happened and what's going on here. Because something happened. Okay? There's nothing you're going to tell me that I've not heard a million times over my career. Okay? But I need to know the truth. Because, believe it or not, I know it's an old cliche, the truth is what helps people. The truth is what sets people free. Okay? You don't want to live with what's going on here. Okay? You want to tell me the truth. Most people finally tell me, okay, this is what's going on. Okay? That's your choice, huh? Okay, but you know what happened. You know what happened. Only you know, and James knows, but only you're going to be able to get out in front of this the best you can. Okay? I have to see some remorse. Okay?
Remorse.
Well, I have to see that, okay, I've not been telling you the whole truth. I'm sorry. Remorse means I'm sorry. Okay, I have to, so you understand what I'm saying? This is what happened, and this is the truth. Okay? A 6-year-old just doesn't get up and walk out the door. Okay? There's more to the story than what you're telling me.
The detective continues to persuade Gosney into telling the truth. James, Gosney's boyfriend, has already told investigators everything he knows.
But now, so when she brought the body back to the house.
She brought the body back to the house.
And what's the conversation then?
She called me.
So, did she leave? You're saying she brought the body back home, though?
Yes.
Okay, where was the body at when you saw it?
Upstairs in his bedroom.
In his bedroom. And when was all this? A couple days ago? Yesterday, today?
Friday night.
It was Friday night, so we're into Sunday now. We were Sunday morning. And how did you guys come up with the idea of, well, we're going to have to report him missing at some point, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That was her idea, sir.
Okay. So she brings the body home. Is it in the bedroom? And then what happens? Even if you yourself went out totally by yourself and got rid of it, I just need to know where. If you're not,
you're still helping your wife.
I don't know exactly where it was, sir.
Okay, were you with her when the body was dumped?
Yes.
Okay. If we went out driving, did you take it back up to Rush Run?
We wasn't up to Rush Run, man. He's off a bridge. He's in the river.
Okay. What bridge? Middletown Bridge?
No. Cincinnati.
Down in Cincinnati?
Well, it's the bridge that goes from Kentucky to Indiana.
Okay. How did you what time of day or night is this?
This was about 3 o'clock this morning.
This morning? Okay. What did you do with the other 2 kids go with you then?
No, they was at home and they asleep.
Alright, so both of you guys get up. We gotta do something. And then take him down to Cincinnati off 71. You're thinking
275, yeah.
Okay, and just did you throw him off the bridge, or did you
hold him off the bridge?
Was it like a stream, or was it the actual river?
The actual river.
Hamilton tells the officers that Gosney told him many different stories as to how James died. It's believed that Gosney took the 3 kids out to Rush Run Park to scare them, but instead, it turned into a traumatizing event that took James's life. Hamilton and Gosney kept James's body in the home for an undetermined amount of time before deciding to throw his remains off the side of the Cincinnati Bridge and into the Ohio River. With confirmation of James's death and the whereabouts of his remains, investigators know that the accident story doesn't make any sense at all. They know that they have to present all of the evidence to Gosney in hope of finding out the real truth. But as she spins her own version of the truth, Gosney has yet to shed a single tear, making her seem even more guilty than before. Gosney begins by telling the detective that Hamilton no longer wanted the children around. He told her that she was to take the children somewhere far away, and she was not to come back with them. This is what brings her to Rush Run Park.
When you loaded up in the car with the kids, you left Crawford Street with all 3 kids.
Yes.
James was in that house.
Yes.
He wanted you to take them somewhere and never bring them back.
Yes.
Okay. So you're confused. You care about James.
And I also...
You care about James, right?
Yes.
So you take off driving.
Yes.
So you get to Rush Run, and did you tell them, hey, how about in pee or the date?
Well, at first they said I have to pee. I said, okay, well, go ahead and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you got out, and you went in through the side door, and you lifted him out.
Yes.
Set him on the ground.
Yes. I didn't throw him or anything.
Okay, sure. Nobody's saying you did. So once he's on the ground, what happens then?
I went to go pull off.
Where was James whenever you backed up and pulled out? Little James.
Well, I wasn't all the way into the parking spot. I was just like halfway there, not all the way there. When I went to go pull away, I'm guessing he had the handle.
Right.
And then I went to go drive off, and he, of course, had a handle. When I looked, he didn't have it. And then I heard him screaming. I don't remember. I thought it was for sure Rachel, but they both, I don't know.
Why were they screaming? Because you were leaving?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they knew I wasn't never just going.
Sure.
So, they were standing by the bathroom stall, whatever it is, and James was kind of standing close to them, but not that close. And as I showed you on the paper, I just went around him and didn't realize he had the handle.
Did you see him grabbing a handle?
No.
Okay, you're just.
But when I kind of I'm assuming he grabbed the handle because I kind of pulled him a little bit, not much, and he got up and then fell back down. I guess I kind of probably made him hurt his knee on the ground or something, and he lost his balance, and he tried to catch his balance. He didn't get to, and he fell and busted his head on the ground.
So when you got back home with James, you come back with the kids. How do you bring James? You just carry James into the house, or does James go out and get him?
I carried him in.
Okay.
Where the clothes at that you were wearing when you carried him in?
Sitting on top of a laundry basket.
Are they dirty?
Yeah.
So you carry the boy back inside. Have you already contacted James and told him what happened? Okay, by text or by call?
It was a text.
You sent him a text?
Yes, and then he called me, told me to bring him back because he couldn't get James to listen.
So you bring the kid back, you carry the kid in, and then what happens? Where do you put the kid? Where do you put James?
I just laid him on when you walk in the door, that room right there, on the floor.
The front, when you walk in the front
living room?
Yes, the front room.
So the living room?
Where the couch is, yes. I laid him on the floor.
Okay.
The bare floor. And he took him upstairs.
James took him upstairs
and put him in the bedroom.
Investigators have enough information to be able to buck Gosney and Hamilton into the county jail, where they will spend the night alone. They plan to begin questioning the pair again tomorrow after a night's sleep. This gives the detectives a chance to regroup and figure out a different interrogation tactic. Like in most interrogations, they will ask many of the same questions again, looking for discrepancies in their answers. But ultimately, the detectives are hoping to figure out the full, honest story of James's death. The detectives still don't fully believe the accident story. There is a greater, far more malicious motive behind James's death, and that's what detectives are still trying to figure out. However, even if they aren't able to get the real truth from Gosney or Hamilton, there is still enough evidence to put the two behind bars.
About 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago.
Yes.
And
then I was kept arguing with her.
That's when everything really started jumping
I kept
off.
telling her, I said, either you need to find somewhere to go with you and your disrespectful kids,
Right.
or I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess she got tired that night when me and her got into it. She went up there, took them, kept telling me she's going to take them and drop them off. I said, I don't care what you do.
Right.
I said, you go ahead and take my bag, do whatever you want with them.
Sure.
I mean, I wasn't refusing her a vehicle to where she could take them to her sisters, her
Right.
moms, I mean, something.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I know, I get that text from her.
And what the text said?
On my way back, he's dead. I mean, she told me she was taking them up to Rush Run and dropping them off.
Mm-hmm.
Me and her done it twice before as a scare tactic.
Had taken them up to Rush Run?
We dropped them off right there by the bathroom. I drive out by the exit there, turn around right back in.
Right.
Well, I mean, they learned something. They'd be all right for 2-3 days and then had to bring back up.
How long would you guys normally leave them there?
Just long enough to drive right out to the road, turn around right back
So
in.
maybe 10 minutes. Maybe.
Not even that. I mean, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. So when she left with them, it was your understanding that she was not bringing them back. She was going to drop them off somewhere.
I didn't know exactly where she was dropping them off. I mean, she said that she was taking them to Rush Run.
Mm-hmm. But she told you that when she left?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought she was just going to, like I said, we did a couple other times, turn around and pick them up. And I was thinking about calling the police on her. I told her that, and she started crying, begging me not to.
Right.
I mean, I love her. I care about her, so I did. I mean, I fucked up.
As a way of establishing trust, the detective then asks Hamilton what does his gut tell him. Does he think that Brittany is lying? James tells the detective he doesn't know what actually happened to James. Hamilton says that Gosney has told him a number of stories, including the one about James having a hold of the car door handle. The detective also asks Hamilton who moved James's body from the car to the inside of the home, to which he replied, Brittany did. This counters with Gosney's answer, who said it was Hamilton that had done it. Hamilton also confesses that he and Gosney hog-tied the children for upwards of 6 hours as punishment for their bad behavior. Hamilton went to the store to buy red and black rope and then threw it on the floor, threatening the children. They were then tied up and left inside an upstairs closet.
Is he really where you said you dumped him?
My son?
Yes.
Yes. That's where he dumped him.
Okay, but you were with him.
Yes,
Okay.
that is where.
That is where you guys went to do it.
Yes.
That's legit.
And yes, he said to make sure we dumped him on that side because of the currency or something goes this way. I don't know nothing about the water. Even though it was an accidental.
I think it was, but you went there to dispose of your kid, to leave your kids out there is what you went to do.
I went to go there to drop them off, not to harm them or anything.
Okay, but you're still abandoning your children. What I'm trying to get at is, I still don't think you're being totally honest with me about how he died. To be quite frank with you. Okay, for some reason you're minimizing the fact that you drug him. Okay.
He asked me, I didn't.
Was there any other means used to harm your child by you or by your boyfriend?
Okay, you gotta explain better than that, cause.
Okay, so if you tell me the truth and say, hey, no, this is really what happened, this is how, then I just want to know the truth of the matter. Because when we're recovering, an autopsy is going to show.
And we're going to recover him. This ain't out yet, but they found him on sonar. They think they found him in sonar.
Sonar is?
Sonar's like an X-ray for the water. This is the issue with you. You're right. We're right in the middle of a conversation. Now, you can't hold a thought to carry on a conversation because you're all over the place. And honestly, I think it's because you're full of shit and you don't want to just talk and have a conversation about what the subject matter is. Was he alive when you went to the park?
As a last-ditch effort to clear her name, Gosney creates another story to tell investigators, and for the first time since coming into the police department, she begins to cry. Gosney tells the detectives that, in a fit of rage, Hamilton took the life of her son James before dropping the children off at Rush Run Park. When asked why she didn't call 911, Gosney says Hamilton had taken her phone.
Your youngest baby.
He wasn't responding when he got out of the van.
Where at?
Remember when I told you when we got there, he wasn't.
When you got
So he was already dead before you got there? Yes or no?
Yeah, he had to, because he wasn't.
Okay, then how did he die?
Whatever James did to him upstairs.
Okay, you need to tell me that. What did James do?
The kid, all three.
All three kids. You can ask all three of them.
Because I know he hog-tied them.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he was beating them.
Why didn't you call us?
He wouldn't let me have a phone.
Okay, so he's dead before you even take him out of the house. Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't know it.
Who loads him up in the car? So he didn't walk to the car.
The kids, like, basically helped him to the car.
Helped
The other two kids helped James to the car.
Your two other kids carried dead James to the car.
He, like...
Okay,
Am I
you're
not
fucking
making-
lying.
No, am I not making this sense?
No, not at all.
Can you please stop yelling at me?
The detective that has been questioning Gosney from the start tries again and again to get the truth from her, but he knows that nothing in this world will get it out of her. As his temper rises, the detective quickly leaves the room, slamming the door behind him. Brittany Gosney and James Hamilton disposed of James Hutchinson's remains by tying his feet to a cinder block, using the same red and black rope used to hog-tie the children. Hamilton grabbed James's shoulder while Gosney grabbed his feet, and together they pushed the remains of 6-year-old James into the Ohio River.
There's no doubt in my mind you took those kids out there to leave them.
Out there.
You took them out there hoping no one would ever see them, find them, or you would never see them or hear from them again. Is that a safe assumption?
Yes.
Gosney and Hamilton would both go to trial for the death of James Hutchinson and plead guilty for murder, child abuse, and child endangerment. Brittany Gosney was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 21 years. Gosney was found guilty by 1 count of murder and 2 counts of child endangerment, which are felony-level crimes. James Hamilton was sentenced to prison for a minimum of 15 years. As of today, the remains of James Hutchinson are yet to be located and recovered. A photo of James hangs inside the Preble County Sheriff's Office as a remembrance to all the officers and detectives working to bring justice to their community.
He would come running towards the front doors of the school building with a giant smile on his face, and he gave the biggest, and as they said, the bestest hugs you've ever imagined. That was James on a daily basis. You know, oftentimes in education we have incentives to reward students for making their dreams come true and reaching their goals. One recent incentive at Rosa Parks Elementary, we found James in the cafeteria with a big smile on his face because he was rewarded with the lucky lunch tray. And that was important to him. And the staff just shared how joyful he was.